an interesting spot with Tanner McKee. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's a backup quarterback, and there is a lot of quarterback needy teams around the league. Do you think the Eagles will look to trade Tanner and rely on either Sam Howell or Kyle McCord, who I don't think is ready to be the backup, but maybe Sam Howell is? Will they look to trade Tanner McKee? What do you think that market looks like? Our buddy Benjamin Solak was on ESPN talking about he could see them flipping Tanner McKee to a team like Miami for a mid-round pick, something like that. Do you think that's likely or could happen this offseason? And if not, I don't think it'll be an extension for Tanner McKee to be the backup. Will they just go into kind of his lame duck year and let him walk after next season? How do you see the Tanner McKee stuff playing out this summer?
Yeah, he'll be back, and he'll be the backup. Kyle McCord's not even here anymore. He's in Green Bay.
Oh, no. He was here through the end of the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
All right, so he left now. Sorry, guys.
He was, on the practice squad. So you have to sign those guys to futures contracts, which you can, but he went in a different direction and went to Green Bay. So he's gone. Sam Howell's a free agent. So he's not, I don't expect him to be back. Tanner will be the backup. They got 1 more year, cost-effective backup. They like him. I don't think, his week 18 game this year helped him. I don't think anybody's going to go into a season saying, hey, we're going to lean on Tanner McKee.
He dropped him in with all backups.
Well, look. I know people want to pump him up and get a second-round pick for him or whatever. You ain't getting a second-round pick for Tanner McKee. But understand these quarterback-needy teams, they have to sell their quarterback to their fan base. You can't sell Tanner McKee as a starting quarterback.
Oh, sure you can. You just get some fringe Eagle fans to represent him. They'll gas him up.
You're going to see, some of these – now – yeah, it'll be if they do trade him, which they don't have a backup, so I don't see any way they're going to trade him. It would be for a day 3 pick, number 1. So, maybe he can get a 4 with conditional if he plays to get a 3, maybe something like that. But why would they trade him? They don't have a backup quarterback if they trade him. And that's a position they value and they like him. And they don't want to spend a lot for the back. If you have to go out and replace him, because remember, if you trade him, you got to replace him. And then if you got to go with a veteran, those guys are pretty expensive. The veteran backup quarterbacks.
$7 million.
Yeah,
they're not cheap.
So, no, I think he'll be back and he'll play out. And I don't consider guys playing out their rookie deals lame ducks. I mean, that's not like a coach or anything. I mean, it's the end of his rookie deal. And he'll go into free agency, and if people think he has a chance to compete, maybe somebody gives him a nice little deal and you got to move on. But they got 1 more year of it, and I think they're going to take advantage of it.
How well do you think Tanner fits with the new offense and what they're trying to build there? Now, I've always been interested by how different the quarterback styles are in Philly. Like you used to see, and this is just one example, but when Snoop Huntley was the backup for Lamar, it's like, okay, yeah, they play the same style of ball, The Eagles is like they have Jalen Hurts on one hand, and then their backup quarterback is always nothing like Jalen Hurts, which I find to be a little interesting.
Yeah, well, there's 2 ways to think about it. You try to get somebody similar traits-wise, and then you don't have to change the offense that much. I think the Eagles have always been secretly happy if they have to change the offense a little bit, at least from the standpoint of being rejuvenated. And maybe that's wrong. People take that the wrong way, but they take it as a nice little challenge. So I don't think there's one way of doing it or that's correct or the otherwise. But in theory, he'll
Doesn't
get
that make it harder on the players though? Like just in theory, you lose last year they lost not the past season, 2 seasons ago, they lost Jalen in the second Commander game after I don't know what it was, 10 plays or something. Instead of just continuing with the game plan or continuing with the modified version of the game plan but playing the same offense, new quarterback comes in, it's like a completely different looking game. You know, does that mess
Well,
up?
yeah, but I mean, do you want
preparation?
do you want a completely shitty quarterback just because he's athletic and he
Yeah,
can't
no.
do anything, or do you want somebody who can at least run to an offense to an acceptable level? So it's not easy to find guys who can duplicate what Jalen Hurts can do. It's easier to find guys who can do what Tanner McKee does. It's one of the reasons we talk about why isn't he so high on top 10 list? Why does everybody disrespect Jalen Hurts? Yada yada yada. Well, execs know it's easier to find a different style of quarterback. So that plays a factor into it. But with Tanner, yeah, I mean, in theory, again, this is all theory. He hasn't played enough. In theory, the ball comes out quicker. There's more anticipation. In theory, he would be more of a fit for this offense. But it's all theory. There's no people have really pumped up Tanner McKee in their minds. I blame Pumper for that. The guy's thrown 88 passes in the
Pump, holy moly, you're getting some credit this morning, Pump. I think Pump would wear that as a badge of honor.
There's thrown, at least in this chat, he's thrown 88 passes in the NFL. He's got 2 starts. He's played, good in one half, and then sort of just and 3, the other 6 quarters. But I think he's a good backup. Can you win a game or two if you lose your starter for a couple weeks for a sprained ankle? Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah, me too. I like Tanner.
And that's all you want from a backup quarterback.
I think Tanner's better than people. I think people have now gone the other way on Tanner because of week 18. They lined him up with a bunch of.
Well, it's hard. You're right.
I mean, seriously though, Jalen Hurts is one of the better quarterbacks in football and a very successful quarterback. If Jalen Hurts rolled out there with the entire set of backups, what would everybody's expectation be? I don't think it'd be that good, John. And I don't think it have anything to do with Jalen.
I say it all the time. He's not going to be playing with any backups. Not going to be playing with the backups. They're going to be playing, if they're forced to play, with the starters. But it works both ways. In week 18 the year prior, everybody's like, this guy's going to get a 2nd round pick. And I said, well, pump the brakes. It's not. So it works both ways. Yes, he shouldn't be criticized that dramatically for not looking that great last year. But the year prior, these people shouldn't have pumped him up like he was going to get to some city and they're going to dub Tanner McKee their starting quarterback. It works both ways. So he is what he is. He's a good backup quarterback. And the Eagles have one more year at a cost-effective rate, and I think they're going to take advantage of it.
What do you think it would take for Howie to move him?
2nd round pick.
2nd rounder? Okay, that's high. I don't think
Howie wants that's the joke around the league. Hey, buddy, 2nd round pick.
Yeah, right. Right.
If there is some lunatic team out, and by the way, there's some.
But the 3rd, get it done. If somebody calls, I'll give you I'm not giving you a 2. I'm giving you a 3, dude.
I don't think a 3rd gets it done because they don't have a backup, and if they have to go get a backup, they're going to have to spend money.